Nothing Phone 2A is launched in India at a very good price. A Nothing phone for just 24,000 rupees. How did they do it? Are there any corners that are cut, or is there any catch about it? Well, we have been using the Nothing Phone 2A for more than 2 weeks, and let me tell you all about it. I am Devendra Maheshwari, and this is a full review of the Nothing Phone 2A. When I first picked up this phone and flipped it over, I instantly noticed two things. Cost cuttings. The back and sides are plastic, unlike glass and metal on the phone 1, and glyph lights are now reduced to just 3 lights in the upper part of the phone. This does make the phone look and feel less premium than the phone 1 and phone 2, but other than that, the in-hand feel of the phone is very good. It feels extremely lightweight for a phone that is packing a 5000 mAh battery, and the matte finish of the frame makes it more grippy. For some reason, the black variant feels more grippy than the white one. Reduction of glyph lights seems like a major cutback, but it still retains all the functions from the phone 2. You get all the glyph features such as the glyph timer, essential notifications, volume indicator, and this even acts as a progress bar for some apps. Only the charging indication is missing in the 2A. You see the red square here? It doesn't do anything. It's just there for design purposes. The cameras are placed horizontally in the center, and due to this, the phone doesn't wobble when placed on a table. And when you hold the phone in landscape while gaming, your fingers don't smudge the lenses that much. It's not the most pretty looking camera module, but it surely is functional. Lastly, there's power button on the right side and volume rockers on the left, and the phone 2A is IP54 rated for dust and water resistance. I have been testing this phone without any case. It was in my bag with multiple other unreleased phones, keys, wallets and whatnot, and even after that there are no major scratches on it, so that's pretty good. Now coming to the display. This is a 6.7-inch Full HD AMOLED 120Hz display that we generally see in this budget. One thing to note here is that the bezels have been trimmed throughout when compared to the phone 1, which is really good. Also, you don't often see the symmetrical bezels on the phone in this price segment. The display is fairly sharp and bright to use both indoors and outdoors. The auto brightness sensor works really well, and in our testing the display even reached a higher peak brightness than what they have mentioned. I guess they're compensating for what happened with the Nothing Phone 1 brightness issue. Remember that? There's also an in-display fingerprint sensor placed at the bottom and works well. One thing you don't see in this segment is always on display with other phones, but you do get that here, and the transition is very smooth just like Pixel. The stereo speakers sound very good, and there is good separation as well, and the haptics are well tuned. I do wish Nothing gave a 1.5K resolution in the phone, as the competition like the Poco X6 does come with the 1.5K display with Gorilla Glass Victus protection. When it comes to watching movies and TV shows, colors look good and HDR works well on YouTube, but you don't get HDR support on Netflix because of Nothing's policy to not include any bloatware at all. Speaking of bloatware, Nothing Phone 2A is one of those rarest Android smartphones that doesn't come with any bloatware whatsoever. The phone runs on Nothing OS 2.5 based on Android 14 and will get 3 OS updates and 4 years of security patches. The UI is absolutely clean. There are no ads or bloatware. Animations are very smooth, be it opening an app, multitasking or shuffling between apps. Everything screams premium in terms of software experience. The AOD transition into the lock screen is also very satisfying. There are new and more functional widgets for the recorder and camera app. There's also this AI wallpaper generator, which we have seen on the Pixel 8 and the Galaxy S24 series. It's not as extensive, but it is a neat addition. All things considered, you can take my word for it that absolutely nothing beats Nothing Phone 2A's software experience in this price segment. Under the hood, the Nothing Phone 2A is powered by the custom MediaTek Dimensity 7200 Pro. Now the processor is based on TSMC's 4nm architecture, while other phones in the segment are either 6nm or fabricated by Samsung, so it is much more power efficient. These are the benchmark results, and the scores are pretty good when you compare it with other phones. Being a mid-range phone, it also doesn't throttle much. When it comes to gaming, BGMI runs on smooth at 60fps, and there is 90fps support with low settings in COD Mobile. I also tested Genshin Impact on this phone, and it runs at around 40 to 45 FPS in medium settings. For a non-gaming phone, this is pretty good, and the chipset is very power efficient too, and that shows in the battery as well. I found no stutters or lags even with 20 to 25 apps running in the background. I could still seamlessly jump from one app to another without any issues. RAM management is also very good, with most of the apps still being able to resume from where I left them. There was this one issue with the Netflix app. The content got stuck in the loading screen. However, a quick restart fixed it. I'm assuming that this issue came up because this is still a pre-production unit. For retail units, I don't think this issue will come up. Let's talk cameras. Both main and ultra-wide are 50 megapixel Samsung sensors that are tuned very well to be more natural. Daylight shots are sharp, detailed, and photos are similar to what you actually see with your own eyes. I compared it with the Realme 12 Pro, and as you can see, nothing shots look better. In the night shots, Realme produces good colors, but once you zoom in a bit, you'll see the lack of details. Realme does bring a dedicated 2x telephoto sensor, but here the colors look much better on nothing. When it comes to portraits, again, nothing has much more natural tones. And also, as you can see here, Realme messes up the portrait shots when there are more than 2 people in the frame. On to the ultra-wide. This is the only phone in the segment with a 50 megapixel ultra-wide, and the shots have very good details on them. But when I tested in the night, I could see these lens flares on most of my night shots. Also, this lacks an autofocus sensor that we saw in previous Nothing phones, so you can't get macro shots here. One thing to note here is that there is support for Ultra HDR photos, which is really good. The front camera of the Nothing Phone 2a is commendable as well. While most of the other phones that I tested were over-processing the images, the Phone 2a did no such thing. Instead, you get to see accurate skin tones and good details as you zoom in. The portrait shots are pretty good as well, with good enough edge detection. However, at night, selfies have some sort of smoothing effect which I'm not fond of. When it comes to the videos, Nothing Phone 2a can capture videos in up to 4K at 30 fps through its primary rear sensor. It can also capture 1080p 60 fps videos from both the rear and front camera sensors. The stabilization is amazing throughout, and there was absolutely no focus hunting issues either. The microphone quality is also very good. I compared it against other phones in the same price segment, and this one turns out to be the best. Coming to the battery capacity, Nothing Phone 2a packs in a 5000 mAh battery with up to 45 watt fast charging support. You don't get to see wireless charging, which none of the phones in the budget offer either. While the on-paper battery capacity is impressive, I wanted to see how it translates in real life. I played YouTube videos for around 1.5 hours, streamed Netflix content for 2 hours, played Genshin Impact for an hour, BGMI for around 1.5 hours, and even ran a round of 3D Mark stress test. After all this, the Nothing Phone 2a delivered a commendable battery backup of 7 hours and 31 minutes. This is while other phones in the budget hit the 5.5 hour mark at max. In terms of connectivity, the Nothing Phone 2a comes with Wi-Fi 6, Bluetooth 5.3 and 13 5G bands. You also get NFC, which is great. Nothing also advertises adaptive NTFS to bring double the transfer speeds with the Windows machine, even though this is still a USB 2.0 port. But in our testing, the difference was very little. One thing that I find problematic is that Nothing Phone 2a doesn't come with a charger in the box, while every other phone in this price segment offers that. In fact, Nothing's very own 45 watt charger costs 2500 rupees, which is almost 10% of the cost of the smartphone itself. A charger in the box would have sealed the deal, but not having one might impact the decision of a lot of users, because at the end of the day, it's still the budget segment, and buying a charger separately means additional cost to the end user. To conclude things, I just want to say that Nothing Phone 2a is the best overall smartphone under 25,000, hands down. You get a unique design, clean software experience without any ads, bloatware or glance, well-tuned cameras, long battery life and a good processor. Not the most powerful, but still very good. Yes, the build is plastic, so you'll have to be extra careful or use it with a case, and you'll have to buy a separate charger, so that is going to be an additional cost. Having said that, if you want a phone for gaming or raw performance, you're better off with the Poco X6 Pro. I hope this video helped you. If it did, press that like button. And if you have any more questions about the Nothing Phone 2a, drop them down in comments and we'll answer those. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.